Hi guys, it's Sam from Creatively Sam's, and today I'm making Shabby Chic velvet pumpkins. I just love these velvet pumpkins that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I decided to try something a little different. If you want to see how I did this, stay tuned. It's coming up next. Well, I've got the white velvet pumpkins that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I've decided that I want to do them a little shabby chic. So what I did was I got pearls, and these are the clear iridescent pearls. This is like bling wrap that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I have colored pearls, and I got these quite a while ago. I think it was Walmart. And then I've got the ribbon roses, and boy do I miss package hands, because that's where I got all these colors. And some of those stores still have them. They're just harder to find and definitely not as cheap. I got lots of my ribbon roses there, and I've got some of these. They're just the rose heads in different colors. And there's more ribbon roses. And I've got metallics in there, which I have a very special pumpkin in mind for that one. And I got out doilies. This, I believe, was Michael's. And I've had tons of these. Anytime I see them in the stores, I grab them up in a hurry. And of course, you know me, I've got an entire box full of bling. Okay, the first thing I've decided to do is I'm going to put a doily in the center. This one is way too big. I mean, I would waste just a lot of that. This one, it's a nice doily, but it's really thick. I'm going to go with these really thin ones. And I'm going to cut it. I'm going to go on, I think this line here. If I did the whole thing, it would really cover a whole lot. So I'm going to get out a really sharp pair of scissors. And I'm going to I think I'm going to cut right here, and that way it's going to give me a little bit of a design, because if I went right here it would just be straight. Okay, I've got it all cut, and you can see it kind of leaves a little design on the end. Like I said, had I cut here, it all would have been straight. But I've got this much left over, and I am definitely going to be saving this because you can always use doilies. Okay, and that's going to go right there in the center. And I'm going to cut the center out so that the pumpkin stem can fit down in there. Okay, I've got that cut out, and I'm going to set that right over the center, and I'm going to just spot glue it here and there. That way if I want to bunch it up in places, I can. And I am going to save this because it's a doily. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take some of these iridescent pearls that I have, and I'm going to make a loop so that the pearls will come down onto the pumpkin. But I'm also going to give it a couple of tails. And I'm going to do this 3 or 4 times so that it goes all the way around. And then I'll just be gluing it, not quite in the center, just on the outside. These pearls are about a foot long. Okay, I'm just going to put a little dollop of glue right there and set that in. And as soon as that dries in place, then I'm going to go on across and then on either side. Okay, I'm going to make a couple of small bows, one for each side, and I'm going to be using some lace, and I'm pretty sure I got this at Walmart in one of those eggs, and this is a thin satin ribbon. And I'm going to be using some, I believe this is 20 gauge wire, just to twist it up in the center. Okay, I've got the little bows done, and the wire that I used to twist it all together I cut down, and I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this and put it on one side of the pumpkin and repeat the same thing with the other bow. Okay, I cut some bling in 2 rows wide, and I'm just going to tuck these I think I'm going to put it between the loops and under. No, let's put it over the doily. Okay, I'm going to finish doing this all the way around. Okay, I'm going to take some of the white ribbon roses, and I'm going to go with the bigger ones and just kind of tuck them in and around. But before I do that, I'm going to take this crystal piece, and I'm going to put a whole lot of glue in the center. Put that down in there, and I'm going to hold it until it dries in place. Okay, I've got some more of the big ones and some of the smaller ones, and I'm going to put a small and a big one underneath each of the roses that I have going around the stem. So I'll just be doing that. And there's the first one done. And I'm going to pretty much do the rest of them in colors, but kind of doing the same thing that I did with this one. And I'm going to see, I'm not really sure how many colors I have of the bling, but I do know I have quite a bit of the pearls. So we'll see how it turns out. Okay, this one I decided I'm going to do in pink. And I've got the white velvet pumpkin. And I have some pink pearls that I had strung quite a while ago. So I'm just going to be putting them all the way around. And I have lots of lace. And instead of using the doilies, I'm going to take this lace. We're going to put this around the middle twice. Maybe 1.5, we'll see. And I have gotten some pink thread and a needle, and I'm just going to go through here and do a running stitch all the way through, and then pull it tight so that it makes a big round ruffle. And I'll show you what I mean when I get this done. Okay, I did the running stitch all the way across this, and this is 1.5 times the circumference of the pumpkin. And now I'm just going to pull this tight, and I'm going to do it gently so that the thread doesn't break, because I really don't want to have to redo it. Okay, now I've got it pulled nice and tight. I'm just going to bring the needle in the beginning. And that's going to go right over top. So I'm going to knot this and glue this into place, and we'll get busy with the pearls. And there's the glue all the way around the center, and the lace is just going to go right on top of that. And remember, there's going to be things like ribbon and roses and that, so none of this is going to show. But we do want this to stay in place. And actually, I got these pearls, I think at Walmart ages ago. And I mean ages. It has to be at least 5 years. And I didn't know what else to do with them. I very rarely wear pink, so I wasn't going to use them for jewelry. So I just threaded them, and I've had them ever since. So what I'm doing is I'm going to fold this in half, and then I'm going to glue this to one side, and then loop it around to go into the other side. Okay, now I'm going to go, here's where I just put that in, and I'm going to come around here and glue the ends in here, and then I will space this out here. So it's going to be all nice and even. Okay, I took some very thin pink ribbon and affixed the center of it with real thin wire. I think it's 22 gauge. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that that really matters. So I'm going to get this on one side and put this one on the other side, and then we're going to start filling it in with a crystal stem and some roses. Okay, I've got the ribbon glued in there, and they're still kind of bunched together, but what I'm going to do is I have these little silk roses, and I'm going to actually put glue on the bottom, and I'm going to use these to push the ribbon over and anchor it. And this is an old trick that I learned way back when I was a floral designer. You let your items work for you. Okay, and I'm going to do that all the way around until it starts to look real full. And by putting these flowers in the ribbon, it does add a lot of volume. Okay, something I really would love to add to this is some bling, but unfortunately the only pink that I have is this hot pink, and I haven't been able to get to Michael's to get some of their light color pink. I know they have it, I just didn't get any. So what I'm planning on doing is, I've gotten these at Walmart a long time ago, and these are Wilton, and they're flower stamens, and it's in their cake decorating section. But I'm going to take some of these, and they're going to be put in and around these roses. And I've also got pink, here's my pink beads, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to use these or round ones, or I actually like these probably the best, and I'm probably going to use that. But that's going to be tucked in and around all these roses. So I'm going to get started by opening this. Oh, and I'm going to use one of my crystals to use in the center for the stem. And that's just going to be like the other ones, held with a whole lot of glue. Okay, the stamens, I folded it in half. I'm going to put glue down here and tuck them in around the roses. And what this does is it gives it some dimension and the appearance of movement. And I don't want to overload this, but I do want it to give it a, oh, what's the term? Undulating feel. This is one of those things that I learned years and years ago while I was a floral designer. If you add a little bit of this kind of, this little item that will give movement to your piece, it's the difference between looking professional and looking cheap. And just get them in there just to add the little bit of bling, because with the facets on these, it'll definitely catch the light. And I want it laying down, so oops, and I'm just tucking that in there. And I don't know if you can see, I'm getting the one side underneath a leaf, so it kind of looks like it's coming out from the center. But this thing's almost done. Okay, the pink one is done, and I'm going to move on to the last color. Okay, I've decided to go with blue just because I have so much blue. I really don't have that much in the turquoise as far as flowers go. But I do have these real pale baby blue roses. And I've got blue pearls, and I have some white pearls, and I've got some blue bling, and I've got ribbon, and I've got a ton of this light blue lace. And for the life of me, I can't even remember where I got this, but I think this is going to work pretty well. I'm going to do the same thing for this that I did with the pink, and run a thread through it and make it ruffle, and then we'll start putting everything on here. I can honestly say I have never done a blue pumpkin. Okay, I cut a piece of that lace 1.5 times the circumference of the pumpkin, and I've got my blue thread, and I'm just going to do a running stitch all along the top, and once I get that done, I'll pull it tight and make a nice round ruffle. Okay, I cut the bling too wide, and I'm just going to do these in 4s. I'm going to put them down at each quarter. Okay, I'm going to put the blue pearls in between the bling and just loop it. Okay, now I'm just going to glue this little bit of lace down over the center, and that's going to cover all the ends. And I guess I should wait till everything completely dries before I do that. Okay, I'm just adding some ribbon loops, and I'm putting this on the outside of the pearls, and it's just to bring more color down and to give it a little more of a feminine look. Now I'm going to put this in the top, and after Christmas I get these at Walmart for 50 to 90% off. So I've always got tons and tons of them. But any crystal will do. Okay, now that I have the crystal in the center, instead of it, or I'm using it as a stem, I'm just going to take some of these baby blue roses and tuck them around the outside of this. Okay, I cut some bling 3 wide by 3 wide, and I'm going to put it in a diamond shape. I'm just going to glue that in between the pearls. And there's the blue all done. I really like the darker jewel tone blue in with the pastels. If I were going to use something like Baby Breath, I probably wouldn't do the intense colors, but I really like the way this turned out. Okay, there are all the pumpkins that I did, and I really like the way they turned out. They're very feminine, they're very different, and I really love the way that white velvet gets shown off by these pastels. So if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy creating, everyone.